There is a small lizard frozen on your wall at night. The porch light is on. The air around it is full of tiny wings. Mosquitoes tap against the paint. Little moths circle the bulb. Small insects land, lift off, and land again like they are being pulled towards something they cannot resist. And right there, just outside the yellow circle of light, the lizard waits. Your first reaction is simple. Chase it away. Tap the wall. Wave your hand. Grab a broom. Spray the corner. Make it run before it gets inside, before it drops onto the floor, before it disappears behind the curtain or the cabinet. And honestly, that reaction makes sense. A lizard on the wall feels like something that does not belong there. It moves too fast. It hides too well. It appears at the wrong time, in the wrong place, when the house is quiet and the light makes every shadow feel alive. But before you chase it away, pause. That little lizard is not lost. It found the place where your insects gather. And that changes the whole story. Because the thing on your wall is not just a random visitor. It is a night hunter. A patient one. A quiet one. The kind of creature that does not need to announce what it is doing. Because the work happens in the seconds when you are not paying attention. Most people see the gecko and think, there is a lizard problem. But the gecko may be the first visible sign of another problem. The insects came first. The light called them in. The wall held their shadows. The warm surface gave them a place to land. The cracks near the door, the tiny gap beside the window frame, the damp corner near the porch, the plant pot below the bulb, all of it became a meeting place for small flying things. Then the lizard noticed, not because it understands your porch the way you do, but because night after night life was collecting there. That is where the story changes. A porch light does not just brighten a doorway. At night, it can turn one square of wall into a living target. Insects that navigate in darkness can become confused by artificial light. They circle it. They land near it. They gather beneath it. And when enough small insects keep returning to the same glowing spot, a predator does not need to search the whole yard anymore. It only needs to wait. That is what the gecko is doing. It is not wandering across your wall by accident. It is positioned. It is using the same spot your insects are using. It has learned where the movement happens. That quiet little body, pressed flat against the paint, is standing at the edge of a feeding station you created without realizing it. Here is the part that changes everything. A gecko can cling to a vertical wall without glue, without slime, without claws digging into the surface like a cat. Its toes are covered in tiny structures so fine they can grip at a microscopic level. That is why it can hang there almost impossibly still, facing downward, sideways, upside down, waiting in a place where most predators could not stand. Think about that for a second. The insect is drawn to the light. The wall becomes the stage. And the gecko is built to hunt on that stage. It can stay in a position that looks unnatural to you, because its feet are made for surfaces like this. While you see a small reptile stuck on a wall, the gecko is using that wall like a hunting platform. That is the devastating detail. The wall was not just a wall anymore. It had become a vertical restaurant. And the little lizard was the regular customer who knew exactly when dinner arrived. Watch one closely from a distance, and the scene becomes different. At first, nothing happens. The gecko barely moves. It looks like a decoration, a pale shape near the bulb, just another mark on the wall. Then one insect lands too close. The head tilts. The body tightens. There is a tiny shift in the legs, so small you might miss it. Then it strikes. One quick burst. One snap. One insect gone. And after that, stillness returns. No drama, no chase. Across the whole wall. No waste of energy. Just waiting, reading movement, choosing the right distance, and striking when the mistake is made. The real action is happening in the silence. That is why people underestimate it. Humans notice loud things. We notice buzzing near our ears, mosquitoes on our arms, moths hitting the glass, flies circling the kitchen light. We notice the irritation. We notice the disgust. We notice the creature that appears on the wall, but we do not always notice the quiet removal of the insects before they reach us. A gecko does not make the wall look cleaner. It does not leave proof you can easily count. It does not line up the insects it removed from your porch and show you the work. It just hunts. A tiny fly that would have slipped under the door does not make it inside. A mosquito hovering near the light never reaches your ankle. A moth that would have banged against the window for 10 minutes disappears in a second. The lizard does not erase every insect. It is not magic. It is not a full pest control plan. If you have a serious infestation, moisture problem, or insects breeding inside the house, you still need to deal with the source. But that is the point. The gecko is not the source. It is a sign that something else is active there. Before you remove it, ask what it found. Because predators do not waste their nights in empty places. If a gecko keeps returning to the same wall, the same porch, the same window frame, or the same corner near a lamp, it may be telling you something simple. Food keeps showing up there. That food might be small moths. It might be mosquitoes. It might be gnats rising from damp soil in a plant pot. It might be tiny flies gathering near a trash bin, a drain, a wet corner, or a door light that stays on late every night. The lizard is not choosing your house because it wants to scare you. It is choosing the place where the hunt is easiest. And that is why chasing it away can be such a strange mistake. You look at the visible animal and think it is the problem. But the visible animal may have arrived because the hidden insects were already using that wall. The lizard was not invading your wall. Your wall had become its hunting ground. Let that settle for a moment. The creature you wanted gone may have been standing between your home and the insects gathering around it. That is the reversal most people miss. When you wave the broom and make it run, you are not just removing a lizard. You may be removing the one thing that noticed the insect traffic before you did. And the gecko noticed because it lives by tiny signals. A flicker near the light, a wing beat against the wall, a shadow moving across paint, a small body landing near a crack. To us, those moments are background noise. To the gecko, they are information. This is why it can look so intentional. It waits near the bulb. It appears around the same time. It holds still near the places where insects land. It disappears when the light changes or the traffic slows. It is not haunting your porch. It is clocking in. Night after night, it comes to the place where the food collects. And if you have ever seen one near a bathroom window, a kitchen light, a balcony lamp, a garage wall, or a porch ceiling, the same logic applies. The light attracts movement. The movement attracts the hunter. The hunter returns because the wall keeps paying. And this is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Sometimes the animal we blame is only there because our habits built the perfect feeding zone. We leave a bright light on all night. We keep damp soil under a window. We let small gaps stay open near the door. We place trash, fruit, water bowls, or plant trays near lights. Then insects gather. Then predators arrive. And when the predator becomes visible, we panic at the wrong part of the chain. We chase the lizard instead of asking why the wall became busy. That does not mean you should let lizards run freely across your pillow, your counter, or your baby's room. It does not mean you should touch them, trap them with bare hands, or ignore droppings indoors. It does not mean every situation is perfect. But if the gecko is outside, high on a wall, near a porch light, or resting near a window where insects gather, the smartest first move is not violence. It is observation. Put the spray bottle down. Do not hit it with a broom. Do not coat the wall in chemicals just because something alive appeared there. Look at the area instead. Are there insects circling the bulb? Are they gathering around the plant? Is there standing water nearby? Is there a damp patch, a trash bin, a compost bucket, an open gap under the door, or a light that stays on all night? The gecko may be giving you a map. It is showing you where the small night traffic collects. If you want fewer insects, change the conditions that draw them. Use warmer, less attractive outdoor lighting when possible. Turn off unnecessary lights. Check for standing water. Seal obvious gaps. Keep damp organic material away from doorways. Clean the places where small flies breed. And if the gecko is outside and out of the way, let it work. There is something almost humbling about that, because the animal looks small, soft, and harmless. It does not roar. It does not build a nest you can admire. It does not look like a guardian. It looks like a thing you might flick away without thinking. But on that wall, under that light, it becomes part of a quiet system. The insects gather. The hunter waits. The house sleeps. And a tiny mouth removes one moving speck at a time from the edge of your home. Not perfectly. Not completely. But constantly enough to matter. And once you understand that, the same scene feels different. The little lizard on the wall is no longer just a creepy shape beside the bulb. The mosquitoes around it are no longer just random annoyance. The porch light is no longer just a light. It is a signal. It is a gathering point. It is a place where your home touches the night and the night answers back with wings. The gecko is there because something is happening, and it found it before you did. So the next time you open the door after dark, and see that small green or gray body pressed against the wall, do not start with fear. Start with the question, what brought it there? Look at the light. Look at the insects. Look at the cracks, the damp spots, the plants, the corners where tiny things gather. Because the hunter did not choose that place randomly. It followed the food. And in a strange way, it may be doing exactly what you would have wanted, if only it had looked less unsettling while doing it. That is the hidden signal. The lizard was not the warning that your house was dirty. It was the warning that your wall had become active. And before you chased it away, it was already handling part of the problem. Now go back to the first image. A quiet wall. A yellow light. Tiny insects circling. A little lizard waiting at the edge of the glow. At first, it looked like something that needed to be removed. Now it looks like a small night watchman standing exactly where the trouble begins. If you have ever seen one of these on your wall at night, tell me where it was. And subscribe, because the next strange thing you almost chase away might be protecting your